Patricia Stamper.
Hi, my name is Patricia Stamper. I am an Empower Fellow, and I'm also a Ward 7 resident, specifically in the Dean Ward Burville community. I was a paraprofessional for a decade who had a true passion to become a lead teacher. During the 2020-21 school year, I earned $20.47 an hour, working only 35 hours a week. Now I am a salary special education teacher. However, I lost where I was at. However, the low pay of paraprofessionals still concerns me. The paraprofessionals that I work with are only paid $16.10 an hour. Behavior technicians are paid $17.10 an hour. I work hand in hand, side by side with predominantly African Americans and Hispanics at my school. Paraprofessionals are expected to support students in the classroom and throughout the campus during the transitions and toileting if needed. Paraprofessionals are the backbone of my school. My school cannot function properly without the hard work and dedication of paraprofessionals. My concern is this: my concern is that so much is asked of paraprofessionals day in and day out, why aren't they being compensated a living wage? If teacher turnover and retention is so important, and yes, it is, then shouldn't that same energy be placed on retaining and equitably compensating paraprofessionals so they can grow and become lead teachers just like me? The cost of living in the DC metropolitan area is high and getting costlier every day. How does one expect a paraprofessional to be able to provide for themselves, let alone a family, on $16.10 per hour? Here's my request to the DC Council Committee of the Whole, is to look into what can be done specifically to improve the retention of paraprofessionals, because these paraprofessionals will eventually one day be your lead teachers. I would also like to request that the DC Council utilize your platform as a governing body that can create legislation and enact laws, and request the DC Council expand the Grow Your Own option for paraprofessionals and high school students to ensure that they can one day become certified teachers. DC Council, I would also like you to request a fund to provide rental assistance for paraprofessionals and teachers to ensure that our educators who our DC children can actually have a place inside the district to live. I heard someone recommend a 30-year payback repayment, Mr. Eric Goulet. I think that's a little stiff, personally. Paraprofessionals make sub-living wages salaries and are often asked to do the same work as a lead classroom teachers, and increasingly asked to step in and cover when educators are absent with substitute shortages. Meanwhile, half of DC charter schools have full-time starting salaries for educators below the DC living wage. I would like to recommend that the DC Council should institute new incentives based on years of service across all DC public and public charter school educators for increased student loan forgiveness, as well as home buying and rental assistance, as I mentioned earlier, to ensure that, again, that educators who teach in DC can live in DC. I would also like to request that the DC Council partner with DDOT to create a pass specifically for educators and people that work at schools. My school that I work at cannot accommodate the entire staff to park in the parking lot that is allotted for our school. Therefore, staff are forced to park in the residential neighborhood. I have personally experienced the wrath of parking enforcement. I have personally paid over this calendar year, $400 worth of parking tickets because my school cannot provide parking for the entire staff to park in the parking lot. Also, yesterday at my school, several staff called out. As a result of such a high volume of staff calling out, several classrooms were understaffed. I would like to recommend to the Committee of the Whole to implement legislation to ensure that there are 6 permanent subs at high schools and middle schools, 4 permanent subs at elementary schools to address staff shortages on a day-to-day level. Thank you for listening to my testimony. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me. Thank you, Chairman Mendelson and the Committee of the Whole.
Thank you, Ms. Stamper.